Hey everybody, we're going to pick up where we left off looking at how World War II starts in Europe. We looked at all the different dictators that are out there in Japan and in Germany and Italy and so on and so forth. What we have not talked about yet is in Spain. And so at this point, Spain is going through a lot of problems, okay? There are revolts, there are riots, there's poverty, and originally the socialist government elect. Now, socialist means that the government is going to take care of all the economic stuff, all the problems, all taken care of by the government. Well, they put down a lot of different religious groups that were protesters, especially Catholics. Catholicism being the main religion in Spain, and some government people got murdered as part of this, so it's kind of a problem. All these other groups trying to get power would overthrow the government, and as part of this group, there's one guy that comes out, a general named Francisco Franco, who kind of comes out as the leader of this new group. And so Franco was a nationalist who was basically a fascist. He wanted to try to take control of the dictator, run a fascist government there. He had a lot of help from other areas, and some of his biggest help comes from both Germany and Italy. Germany and Italy are building their army up. They're kind of getting ready for what could be, a war going forward. Think of the Spanish Civil War as almost like a dress rehearsal for World War II. Germany and Italy, they give guns and planes and tanks. Italian bombers are dropping bombs on Spanish cities, all that kind of stuff. It was almost like a little practice war for Italy and Germany before the whole war starts itself. And so Franklin used these to win the Civil War, take control, and all that. A lot of cities are bombed. They take them over with his army from different communist groups in Spain, uh, and so all these things kind of fall apart in Spain. And eventually Franco becomes the dictator of Spain until the 1970s, when eventually he passes. Now there are some U.S. people that fight in this whole thing. There's something called the Abraham Lincoln Brigade. That was a group of soldiers from the United States who volunteered to go fight in Spain, help the Spanish side. At the same time, we talked about this last one too. Mussolini tried to invade Ethiopia before. When he last Ethiopia tried, it didn't work out so well. This time he tries to attack. He attacks Ethiopia, takes over, controls it, all kinds of things because he has better weaponry, better techniques, better information to invade Ethiopia. Now, Germany starts to expand. Okay, Hitler starts talking about needing elbow room, needing breathing room in Germany, and one of the ideas that the idea of being German was that you spoke German. So all these different German-speaking groups were broken up after World War One. Well, one of the big areas he thought was a German-speaking group was Austria, and so Hitler really wanted to annex Austria into Germany. Now, the leader of Austria was pro Weimar Republic, Reichstag, and they were anti Adolf Hitler, and so Austria basically refused to be annexed or added on Germany. While most of the Austrian cities, though, were very pro-Hitler. And because of this, the whole president resigned, and Austria becomes part of part of Hitler's Germany in 1938 with really no shots taken at all. So in a way, you kind of see right away Germany is bigger taking over Austria because they said, Austria they speak German, so means, we have to be part of Germany. Another part of it is the Sudetenland. Sudetenland is this little area right here of was in Czechoslovakia. And there's little yellow areas here where it was controlled. It was a German nationality there, right on the border. Obviously, so that's part of it. And Hitler wouldn't claim that, hey, there's mistreatment happening here. People are mistreating the Germans. The Czechs are mistreating the Germans and not making life fair for them, so on and so forth. And so Hitler decides to put a big army on the border and basically threaten to say, hey, listen, you guys want to start something? I'll finish it. You guys just need to, let me know what's going on here, and we'll take care of it. He puts his big army up on the border and says we're going to take it over. Now, obviously, we can't have this stuff happening at the time, and so the League of Nations tries to step in and tries to, stop all this from happening. And the guy that does it is the British Prime Minister, this dude right here, named Neville Chamberlain. He meets with Hitler and Mussolini and the Czech leaders, all this kind of stuff. And the real goal here is to stop Hitler. Just hold Hitler down and be like, okay, Hitler, you gotta stop here. They wouldn't really have any good reason for war. And so basically, at this whole big meeting thing here, Chamberlain gets Hitler promise that if he gets Sudetenland, if he gets this part of Czechoslovakia, after that he will have no more. He's basically going to be done after that in expanding his territory. All of a sudden, this Neville Chamberlain, okay, Neville Chamberlain, he comes back to Britain and he is like, we have us all taken care of. He goes, we will have peace in our time. Yeah, he was wrong. But he comes back in this big, hero's welcome saying, well, peace in our time. At the same time, you have Stalin and you have Hitler, and they decide to sign a non-aggression pact. Basically means that they will not attack each other at all. Now, think about it. Last time Germany lost World War One, why did they lose? Two front war, right? And this time Germany says we're not going to have a two front war because we're not going to fight Russia, at least not right away. The other deal they make here is they make a deal about Poland. Kind of put a picture of a map in your head if you can't check your map in your book. Poland was made out of parts of Russia and parts of Germany. Well, they split Poland down the middle and say, listen, if we do have this issue, you get this part of Poland, we get this part of Poland. And so it was a really good way to avoid potential conflict with the Soviet Union. Now we kind of fast forward here to September 1939, where we see the invasion of Poland. Now, in originally Germany and Poland, that's non-aggression act. It expired. All of a sudden, Germany attacks 1,000 airplanes and 200,000 soldiers. Big deal. A lot of airplanes for time period. Your average squad group of planes is going to be, between 8 to 10, 12 planes. 1,000 planes kind of flying in here is kind of a big deal. Well, the Polish army is defeated in weeks because the Polish army is actually still using horses and wagons, those kind of things yet, to fight their wars. Now, Poland did have allies, though. Just like in World War One, you have allies. And so Poland's allies are Britain, France, and eventually Russia, who signs on with them, too. And, the U.S. stays very, very neutral. At this point, it's the war. British and French troops are sent to Poland. They fight. They lose. British planes are being shot down over Poland. And the Soviet Union does sneak into Poland, takes over a big chunk for themselves, and the war is on. Now, how Germany called this fighting is called the Blitzkrieg. Literally means lightning war. They use planes to bomb everything real quick. They move in the guys in charge with the guys take over with tanks, armored vehicles, trucks, that kind of thing, to make sure that you can easily take an area over. Now it's called Blitzkrieg because it means lightning war, and it happens very, very fast. Like I said, took over Poland within a couple of weeks, nothing else. And they have these Panzers, who are the most elite of the elite tanks. That's about all they were. They were exact tank, very special soldiers. And of course, you also have the SS, kind of the super Nazis, who are the best trained, most radical Nazis, and also the most loyal Nazis then, because they decide they'll do anything that the Fuhrer says to, and they have to follow it. Now, France got ready for this whole thing. Right after World War One, France is like, you know what, we're ready in case Germany comes back. We're going to have defenses built. We're going to build some guns and protect us. They built these things right here all along the border with Germany. And it's called the Maginot Line. It was basically this big, huge line of forts and guns all set up as a way to stop a war with Germany. It was all set up, all together. And basically, we see this little phony war. You can see the Maginot Line on the French side. You have what's called the Siegfried Line on the German side, with the Germans doing what's called a Sitzkrieg. Sitz being there and do nothing. They sat there and said, okay, we're going to slow down a lot. We have Poland. We're going to slow down a little bit here until we move on to our next target. And both sides kind of sat there and looked at each other for a while. So here is, obviously, right here, the fortifications. Here's that. Over here, they're a little bit weaker over here. You see different little sites and base camps, those kind of things in cities around, right around the border here of France, that kind of stuff. You're out border up here. Obviously, we have the Sixth Creek going on with Germany right here. Where did you go? Some people say you waited out. You go right back in here. Remember what happened back in World War One? Germany kind of came to end around play right here through Belgium and back into France. Guess what happens this time, ladies and gentlemen? You got it. The Germans go right through Belgium again. Luxembourg, Netherlands, those low countries that caused so much problem last time, and they use that blitzkrieg style to surprise and catch the French army. And so France is beaten down in just a little over a month. Most of the soldiers that are left evacuate a place called Dunkirk, the place right next to, right very close to Britain, easy to get across by ship across the channel. And downside is that all the soldiers had lost their lives. In that little bit of time they were fighting with Germany, it could have been a lot worse if they'd been there for a lot longer. So we kind of remember going forward here in terms of all those ideas. Now, all of France is not being ruled by the Nazis. The southern part of France, right here, this blue part right here, was called Vichy France. It was actually ruled by a French guy who worked with Hitler. His name was, he kind of was put in charge of this whole section of France would kind of keep control, make sure that they scout Hitler's hair. That way, German army is allowed to defend this right here, what's now called the German occupation zone, and make sure that beach is clear of people to land on it, like the U.S. does later on. The Axis alliance is a little different here. Japan joins up with Italy and Germany, join what's called the Axis alliance. Now we call them here called the Allies, which is like U.S. and Britain and France and Russia, and you have the Axis, who are going to be Germany, Italy, and Japan. And so Japan goes and meets with the German people. They sign an agreement, become allies, and basically our sides are set in World War One for World War Two too. Now, except for one little batch here, okay? In 1941, Germany decided to attack the Soviet Union. Remember, they had that non-aggression pact, kind of a little cartoon on here, like Hitler stabbing Stalin in the back. The idea here is that Germany wanted Soviet oil fields, and Soviets wouldn't give any oil out to Germans, so they decided to attack and take it over. Really kind of dumb when you think about it, actually, because you're attacking Russia in the summer, which means eventually it's going to be winter. Now, Russia is known for the worst winters on record, and honestly, in some way, shape, or form, the Russian winter is what kind of keeps, kind of makes this whole thing not very successful. But in 1941, Hitler breaks his promise and he attacks the Soviet Union. On the flip side now, over the skies of Britain, we have the Battle of Britain going on. It's the first ever all-air war, all-air battle in the American Civil War, or in any war for that matter. So Germany thought they could attack Great Britain through the air. Obviously, it's really hard to get across the English Channel. England is known for fighting to the absolute death. And so instead, Germany uses the Luftwaffe, led by that guy Hermann Goering, to do all these kind of things. So you have these bombers who go and bomb Britain daily, every night, those kind of things. The problem was that the British had radar available to them, which they could actually use that, then know where planes are coming, and have their night fighters and stuff ready, fighter planes ready to go and shoot down the bombers, that kind of thing, to make sure. Now, so because of radar and that kind of thing going on, they decided to only bomb at night. And so they called it the London Blitz, because there was always bombs dropping at night, and people actually go down and hide out in the subway tunnels and stuff to be safe during the Blitz. So people would be hiding out there at night. They'd be working jobs as like firemen or ambulance drivers at night and working their regular job during the day. In fact, in Britain, they even moved all the zoo animals out of the London Zoo and moved them up to Scotland, because they're afraid that a bomb would blow the cages open. There'd be bears and stuff wandering the streets of London. Britain does fight back, and actually Germany loses over 10% of all its planes and pilots. It doesn't sound like a lot of planes and pilots, but it's a huge, huge deal, because they had to train brand new pilots, build new planes, all kind of stuff. And Germany basically has to say, we lost, we can't fight anymore in the air, we're done. And so Britain lost a huge number of pilots as well, but not as bad as Germany. Germany lost about 10% of total army force, which is not good. Now, there were some U.S. guys who fought in this as well. There's a group called Eagle Squadron. They're a group of basically U.S. soldiers who stowed away, went off to Britain to go fight by choice, obviously, and fly with the British Army, and serve that way kind of thing. So here's a couple big questions come up here. We're going to answer next week, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. First off, should the United States join the war? Should we get involved right away? Well, our biggest idea this time now was isolation. There's a group called America First Committee saying, let's take care of America first. Led by Charles Lindbergh. He was a big hero, big celebrity, because he flew across the Atlantic Ocean. The idea is that it's not our problem. It's going to cost all kinds of money, that kind of stuff. On the flip side, there were people arguing for intervention. President Roosevelt had signed something called the Atlantic Charter. It was basically an agreement with Britain and France saying that at some point we're going to help if they need it. Britain fighting against Germany. We were going to help in some way, shape, or form. And some people wanted to help. Other people is like, there's no way on earth we're helping anybody. We have to take care of our own issues first here. One thing we did do help out Britain and France with something called cash and carry. For Britain, basically, we would sell war equipment to Britain, and we would have to sell it for cash. This way, it was not an act of war, because we're actually doing the fighting. We sell all kinds of stuff like tanks and guns and ammo and all those kind of things. And it's really helped get U.S. businesses back on their feet again. In a way, it really does officially end the Great Depression as we start seeing all this military stuff be built up. Now, eventually, as Britain gets further and further in debt, we have to switch up. We can't sell by cash. We go to what's called Lend-Lease. We start with destroyers and airplanes, and Germany wants to stop, or else they're going to come for us next. You have the idea of Lend-Lease here, where we're lending stuff to the British Army to use